Good morning, Cowboy Jim here. I hope you're having a good day in Fort McMurray. She sure is a lovely day out there. I have tried to do since Putin moved into the Ukraine to cover as much of it as I could to try to do as everyone else in the world is trying to do, and that is to put a face on the people who are being killed in the Ukraine. And I have tried also to try to draw a distinct difference between Putin and what he is doing in the name, in his mind's eye. I'm given to understand that he has told his people that his effort is to liberate the Ukrainian people. That's a hard sell, and but is it really a hard sell for the people in Russia, Soviet Russia, to believe their leader? No, it's not. And people want to have someone to blame. And so let's make a list of the people who can be blamed for what is happening in the Ukraine. Well, Putin, of course, and quite a few of his advisors. I just bet, not all of his advisors are in favor of what is happening in the Ukraine. But I want you to understand something. The average Russian person has every right to life as the Ukrainian people, as the rest of Europe, as we Canadians, as the Americans to our south. The people of Russia, I am told, I'm not an authority, I'm a rancher and a truck driver, haul truck driver in the mines up in Fort McMurray. And the people of Soviet Russia, I was told, called the Ukrainian people their cousins. And Putin has relied on that understanding by his people, and he sold the idea to his army that he was merely liberating their cousins, their family in the Ukraine. And it was a smart move. There are a few other smart moves by people around the world who want to start a third world war. The number one, I'm not sure if the number one place for evil would be Xi Jinping, the communist Chinese party. But if Xi Jinping is not using Putin as a pawn to establish in Xi Jinping's mind's eye how weak, truly weak, the American people are at this juncture, if that's not his game plan, boy, it sure is working. Biden in the States, the I was going to say, the greatest liar in politics today, but that's already been awarded. The man who is the greatest liar in politics today, it's not Putin. It is Adam Schiff, a member of the Democratic Party and the United States of America. But second to him would be Biden. Nancy Pelosi, and those people in the Democratic Party, and also not all those people. You have Sinema, you have Joe Manchin, you have Tulsi Gabbard. Well, I got it this time. She is a former pilot and fought in every war in the last while. Then the politicians in the world, Bush and Biden and the Democrats and too many conservatives have wanted war because it's kind of like a smokescreen. It's kind of like if they can pretend that they're under attack, then everything that they do will be looked upon favorably. And all the Democrats want to do is fulfill domination of the peoples of the world. And the Democrats, Joe Biden down in the States, they don't personally want to dominate everyone themselves. They are using pawns. And Putin is one of the pawns that Joe Biden has used. And Joe Biden kept dangling this trophy in front of the Ukrainian government saying, hey, you are pretty close to being accepted into NATO. All you have to do are a few things. So one of the things was about 20 years ago, and that was for the Ukraine to give up their nuclear defense system. And even Putin said he would honor the treaty they were drawing up as long as the Ukraine gave up their nuclear armament, because if the Ukrainian people were having to go through what they are having to go through, that button to push would have been easier. Also, Putin knows that Putin would never have invaded the Crimea, would never have invaded Ukraine. And if 2014, Putin took over, I think it's called the Crimea, and the Ukrainian people resisted because this was a country who was coming into their own Ukrainian democracy and taking over under the guise that they were protecting Soviet Russia. Very good. But Biden kept saying to the Ukrainian government, oh, you're almost there. You just do a few more things, you're almost there. And Biden, his family, his son became really wealthy in the times that Biden was in charge of allocating money to the Ukraine, support from the United States of America, and all those things. Why would anyone in their right mind want a third world war? And by the way, it's already started, but it hasn't been declared yet. The reason for that would be that there could be an elite group in the world who firmly believe that there are too many people alive and well on planet Earth. And if you were to ask that of Xi Jinping, he wouldn't tell you. But by what he has done, he has shown you. Putin, he might tell you. But you don't have to be told if you can look and watch and see. Now, Justin Trudeau, the great pretenders of our modern day political endeavor would be Putin, Xi Jinping, the Iranian government, Justin Trudeau, Biden in the States, and almost everyone in the Democratic Party. It is distinctly advantageous for that group of people to manipulate each other and Putin and Xi Jinping, who just sits there knowing that he is the second, and possibly with Biden's inability to be cognitive, and the Democratic Party's need for war, because that's the only way they will ever control and not lose power in the House of Representatives. Hey, get that? Pretty sure that's right. And the Senate in the States. And so that group of people, they want war. And they want to limit the population on the earth. If there is to be a nuclear war between Putin and the U.S., I guarantee you, it won't be the politicians that die. I mean, they'll be hiding underground somewhere because they have kicked a sleeping dog, and Putin only pretended to be asleep. Now, let's think about this for a second because this is critical. The average Russian civilian, let's say, we'll take the civilian part away. The average Russian person is the same in many ways as the average Ukrainian, the average Canadian, the average person from the United States of America. We're just average. But our Canadian Freedom Convoy, they wanted something, and they surely did start something. Oh my. They brought together the blue collar people of the world. The next battle after this Third World War that we're in, and trust me, children, we're in it, from the information that I've been able to glean, probably will be in 2025. And that is when all hell is going to break loose. By that I mean Antichrist, who is in great part working diligently to kill off as many people as possible, to dominate the people of the world, the poor and the middle class. In 2025, I do not believe there will be any middle class left. I believe that it will be the very wealthy and the very poor. And the uprising by the poor against the wealthy, that will be what the battle is in 2025. There are those who say that battle will be at the halfway point of the tribulation period. The first 3.5 years of the tribulation period aren't so terrible as to cause people to die of fear. But the second 3.5 years of the tribulation, trust me, there will be people crying, wanting to die because of what they're going through. I am not an alarmist. I am not a theologian. I am not a person with great insight into politics. I am just what I appear to be. But I have a heart for people. And so I have I've been broken up by the suffering of the Ukrainian people. I have been appalled at the politicians, Justin Trudeau, his horrific attitude towards the Freedom Convoy, and his lies and deceit, and the news media that are on the dole, public dole, shall we say, of the politicians who have a game plan. Joe Biden, Putin. We are in some of the most exciting times in the world. So let's not drag this out. Let's cut this short, and I'll have a coffee and take a run at the next video. And in the meantime, fear not. Don't fear. Learn to trust God, because God is not subject to Antichrist, and God is not subject to the whims of the politicians of the day, who, if they're not like Donald Trump and Stephen Harper up here in Canada, the politicians are in trouble. God bless.